What's going on, gang? We are back one more time with another episode of DLC. On today's episode, we're going to be covering a couple of different topics. We're going to be starting off with Jaylen Brown and his new Supermax, making him the largest, or the highest paid deal, or highest paid individual deal for a player. For now, anyway. I'm sure that'll change shortly, and that's really just mostly due to the collective bargaining and all the extra nonsense that's just coming into play now. But we're going to go over that as we get into it here a little bit. But other than that, though, we're also going to be covering, of course, the YNW Melly mistrial, and, of course, we're going to be hitting on the GHERBO prison sentence, as well as maybe a couple other things in between there. But, Brent, why don't you get us rolling?
So, how much was it? Jaylen Brown, 306,
I believe. Let me pull it up.
6 years, no player option, or something like that. 5 years, no player option.
Oh, I already had it pulled up. I'm capping. Hold up. All right, cool. So Jaylen Brown, if you guys did not know, has just signed one of the largest contracts. It is a $304 million 5-season extension. It is the largest contract yet signed in the nearly 8-decade history of the NBA. So the largest contract in 80 years. So that's pretty popping to me. That's one of my guys. Obviously, if you guys don't watch my customs work or on my other channel, actually, I guess you haven't seen any Jaylen Brown stuff on the channel yet. I haven't done that yet, but if you follow my Instagram, then you will know that, of course, we have a lot of work with Jaylen Brown. I said his shoes in the All-Star game this year. So he's a cool dude. He's a cool dude. I'm happy that he's got his bag.
Get your bag, bro.
Happy he got his super bag.
Super bag. That's what they call it.
How do you feel about that, though? Like, do you have a problem with him being having the highest paid contract right now, or like? So
no, I don't have an issue with Jaylen Brown. His contract is because clearly they've settled, well, not settled. They've decided to go Tatum, Jaylen, and Kristaps. So like that's their core three. So
right,
they're the best scorers on the team. They always playing and doing whatever they got to do. So how can I expect any different from these fools? You know what I mean? Like,
they had to pay him though. That's really just the end all be all. Is that she just had to pay him.
You had to pay him.
You were gonna have to pay him. You knew you were gonna have to pay him. They really had no other options. And of course, with Kristaps coming in, you have, they have a chance really to make some noise. So I'm gonna be.
It's gonna be weird about that rotation down low because you know what I mean. You got.
I don't know about down low. It's really just Robin Williams and Kristaps. Really is. They got rid of. Grant Williams has been shipped out now, so he's not.
Horford.
I guess they still have Horford, I guess, too.
That's what I'm saying.
It's gonna be a little bit of a rotation in there, but they play in such different styles. Though Kristaps is
that's
Al Horford
thing.
is almost to fault. He's a pick and pop big. He's gonna be at the top of the key, and then he's gonna be shooting his threes, doing whatever. And Kristaps can kind of do both. So
that's the thing. Is Kristaps? Is he back to Kristaps? Is he back to New York Kristaps before the knee?
I don't know about New York Kristaps. I don't know if I've seen quite the impact plays necessarily, but as far as numbers and everything else goes, it's definitely his best season since his New York, or at least last season with the Wizards was definitely his best season.
Damn.
Coming into this season, I don't know. I'm thinking it's going to be a pretty.
I'm upset. I missed that.
Should be a pretty smooth fit. Should be pretty smooth. What's their ceiling? You think? What's the Celtics ceiling this year? Remind you, they have a lot of
finals. I expect finals. Finals is. I expect finals. They made it there. What, twice? Once?
They kind of have to go to the finals.
They have to go to the finals. You spent a lot of money on these two. It's all about the coaching, honestly. It's about their coaching and if people stay healthy and
True.
The pieces. It's all about the pieces, honestly. Like, and Tatum has to show up.
Facts.
Like, that's the thing. He has to show up. Like,
yeah, Tatum's got to show up.
Like I said, like during the finals, I might be a harsh coach if I was a coach, but he twisted his ankle. He ran for like 14 minutes, did nothing. So like that's a dead player on the floor.
Would you rather him be like, "Yo, coach, I can't do it"? Like,
no, I would be like, I was the coach. I would steal that obligation from him. I'd be like, I'd pull him out, and he'd be like, "Bro, what's up?" And I'd be like, "Bro, you haven't scored. Like, you're out here to score, and you're not scoring. Sorry, you got to sit down."
But is that more an indictment on him or like the whole rest of the team too?
We're talking about your role. You play your role. He was there to score. He put up the games before, like he put up the points before. That's what they expected. That's what they wanted. So
true.
Like Derek White had to go off. You know what I mean? Derek White had to win him a game. Like
Derek White was getting buckets though.
Yo, he was getting buckets.
Can't nobody say nothing about Derek White.
Derek
right?
Buckets.
He was all they got there for a minute there.
That's what I'm saying. So like Grant Williams gone.
So on that angle, then, do you have a problem with JB getting this kind of money? Then knowing that JB was on the team and that kind of happened.
Absolutely not.
Nope.
This is the best.
This is kind of the third or fourth year that they kind of haven't had it at the very end.
But like those two have been the key core pieces that have gotten them there every time. So unfortunately, they're unreplaceable. Like,
This is true.
It's now or never. It's well.
I mean,
it's
they
been
just
now
had
or
no other
never.
options. I mean, when you look at it, it was just really who were they going to replace Jaylen Brown with that was going to be better than Jaylen Brown, but also
Lillard, but that
less
wasn't
money? 'Cause,
happening.
I mean, what was going to be?
Lillard, but there's no way that would have happened.
I mean, but Lillard would be the one that would be like the only one that might be better that was maybe available.
But you
then,
probably had to trade like 90% of the team to get Lillard.
You think 90% of the team?
Yeah,
though?
90% of the team. If you're a third string, you're safe.
Facts. I mean, but then he's not going to want to get traded to you if he's not. You don't have a team still there, so really you couldn't trade.
Wouldn't that be considered tampering though? If you're running around telling everybody, I want to go to what's the name, and I will not be happy going to your team, that feels like tampering to me. Like you're literally
kind of. So that's why you kind of have a lot of the guys.
You're
talking
clearly
about this is bad
fucking
for
your
the league
odds
and,
on purpose. Like
you got people that are talking about this is bad for the league and everything else. I mean, because of that reason, it's kind of holding them over the barrel and not making it possible for the team that you're leaving to actually succeed without you. I feel like but also then on the end of that, it's like,
Wade's done
does
everything.
Dame really care about that, or should he care about that?
No,
Like,
that man gave him 11 years of their life. It promised him.
but on the other end of that, it's not like he was doing it for free. So, really, it was just a job. So, really, who did you give what?
Money though. He earned his money.
I mean, yeah, he earned his money, but that's
And
what I'm saying. I mean, the loyalty doesn't really need to go that far, is what I'm saying.
Yes, because he's made Portland relevant. When's the last time Portland was relevant before Dame? Pippen?
I mean, no, it was more Brandon Roy. It was probably the last time they were actually like really relevant. I mean, Brandon Roy, maybe when Lillard first got there, but I guess that's still technically Lillard. So
right.
I mean, it was more Aldridge at that point, but I guess it's technically Lillard still.
Yeah, it wasn't Aldridge. It was LaMarcus Aldridge at the time.
Yeah, so I mean, you never know. Portland had a couple of good
They got pieces, but they're not
like
like
guys here and there.
I don't know. It's a small franchise team, right?
Yeah, it's a small franchise team, so I mean, it's hard to. I mean, but with the Nike factory there and all that other shit, I mean, I don't know. I'd go play in Portland. That's just me. I'll take millions of dollars to play anywhere.
I'm sure you would take millions of dollars to play.
That's just me. That's just me. But
some people want legacy. Sometimes it's not about the money. They've been told they was going to get the money their whole life. At that point, it's I want to win. Depending on who you are.
That's true. Hold on. I'm trying to pull up the secondary link here. Why are my links not working? That's crazy. Hold on. Anyways, let's just segue that then. Let's segue that then to the YNW Melly case. How closely have you been following that?
I've watched a complete review of it from beginning to end. I've been very, very watching this case very closely. Celebrity cases is kind of my thing.
Is it? Okay, so I've been popping in and out. And all right, so first off, then I have to ask you, like, do you think the mistrial was warranted?
Yes. Well, I mean, if it makes it funny, is because his lawyers called for mistrial from the jump to then go through all these weeks of trial to then still have it fucking mistrial. But like it's not anyone's fault. Like the jury just was split down the middle, 50-50. No one budged. So it has to be a mistrial.
I mean, I don't know if it was exactly 50-50. I haven't actually checked into the numbers.
I heard it was 50-50. Like,
you heard it was 50-50? I heard it was
deadlocked down
one.
the middle.
Nah, I thought I heard it was one like holdout juror that was
one holdout.
One holdout juror in the middle.
My man was a fan.
let me see here.
My man was a Melly fan.
Let me see here. I mean, yeah, probably.
It was like no.
Wouldn't shock me. Hold on, where's the list? I got the link here. All right, let's see. Deadlock jury has prompted a mistrial in the double murder trial of rapper YNW Melly or Jamal Demons in South Florida.
Calling that man demons.
Mm-hmm. A 12-member panel could not reach a unanimous verdict after 3 days of deliberations. Broward County prosecutors who had been seeking the death penalty will likely choose to retry the case, which they have, with a new jury. And they chose to retry it within like 2 weeks.
God damn!
So,
I didn't know it was gonna be that fast.
Yeah, I mean it starts on like August 1st.
Fuck.
I think something like that. I think it's on August 1st.
I think it's gonna spend like maybe another year.
It's coming up
before they
start coming up
again.
short. That it's gonna be a very
Talking
short.
about a fast,
very
and
short,
speedy trial.
Broward County, Broward Circuit Judge John Murphy twice asked the juries to keep deliberating after they said they were deadlocked, but relented after they came back a third time. Let me see here. What else? If there's anything else you guys need to know. Prosecutor said the shooting was part of the gang action, while defense attorney said that the claim lacks credibility because Demmons and the victims were close friends. They were best friends. But if that's your only reasoning, which is all I heard really as to why they would not have done
dumbass reason.
Now, really, all I really heard was that the new thing is that they're trying to say that they can't really prove that he was in the car and that's what was going on, and that you really need to look into.
Because he's step counter, his step counter that you can literally I've been cheating step counter since fucking Pokemon. Just shake the motherfucker.
Was that what it was? I didn't even see it.
They was going off of like step counters off of an app and how many steps he took and I'm sorry, bro. Like, I don't have reasonable doubt. My man was sitting in his seat. I don't understand why he wouldn't shoot those people. We already know it was issues with him and all his friends over money. They started the shit. They wasn't getting
16 mil splits easier 2 ways than 4.
He wasn't trying to split it with nobody for real. Like he.
But for those of y'all that don't necessarily know what happened, I don't want to cut you off. But before we get too far, according to the prosecutors, Demmons, Williams, and Thomas, which was Bortland, he was in the car with YNW Melly. He was in the car with Bortland. He was in the car with Sack Chaser and with Juvie. Juvie and Sack Chaser are the ones who have died. While Bortland was the only one that actually appeared at the hospital with the dead bodies of the other two after they were claiming their drive-by situation. Alleged drive-by situation. That was also what I was told, is that Melly never said anything about that it was only Bortland that said anything about it because he was the only one there and yada yada. So they really need to look into what his story is, the one that don't make sense and blah, blah, like yada yada. But according to prosecutors, Demmons, Williams, and Thomas were riding in a Jeep driven by Cortland Henry, known as YNW Bortland, after a recording session in Fort Lauderdale on October 26, 2018. They say Demmons fatally shot Williams and Thomas, and Henry is charged as an accomplice in the case and will be tried separately. Although, I don't know. Actually, I thought they were going to try to maybe join those two together, but maybe they still decided to do that separately. I haven't seen since the retrial. Has gone into since the mistrial. But after killing Williams and Thomas, prosecutors said Demmons and Henry drove the bodies to an area near Everglades where they shot at the back of the passenger. They shot at the back and passenger sides of Henry's Jeep from the outside to make it look like Williams and Thomas had been the victims of a drive-by shooting. But prosecutors say the ballistic tests show the pair were not shot from inside the Jeep. And this is also coming from ABC News, y'all, just so y'all know.
It wasn't shot within the Jeep?
It was not. No, it was shot within the Jeep.
Exactly.
The ballistic test showed that the shots came from the back right seat of the car, where Melly was shown to be getting into the car on
blood
security
poured
CCTV
in on the seat,
tape.
stopped right where his butt was.
You see where the voids are in his legs sitting on the chair. I saw that part of the trial as well. So to me, it really was no doubt. But at least not reasonable doubt, I should say. Of course, there are people out there like my guy D House. He's one of our editors on the channel here. We had a heated debate earlier about this topic on whether or not. And let me pull up his his retorts here, so y'all can get. I was gonna have him put a video up so you could see what he was saying here. But I want to put up his report here because that was the other thing too as well, is that the phone that was used to,
it was his phone. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. That was his phone.
They're saying was not his phone.
He got dick pics in there.
He lets other people use his phone.
No,
everybody has access.
I'm not holding no.
I said that sounds like absolute nonsense, but D House is like, no, yo.
I mean, that it does.
They can't say he was using the phone because everyone uses it. He got in the car with them and go to the house and let them in the house, so anybody had access to the phone. They could have sent that and blah blah blah. That's what he said as well. He also said he wasn't even responding to none of the gang messages. He was just ignoring everybody else trying.
The gang stuff has nothing to do with. The gang stuff has nothing to do with him shooting his friends. I said nobody uses that phone but him, and he says no, not true. Multiple people said they uses that phone, and he believed their testimony when they went up there. He said the witnesses were not lying, but to me, they all probably were lying. I don't remember. Some sort of thing. I don't recall.
And I know that he was paying people off, and that the mom of the
sister. It was the sister.
Right, the sister was taking. He's giving her 6-7 bands for Airbnbs and trips and all types of other nonsense every week.
She mad at her family, all sorts of shit.
Right, calling his mom the B word and all types of crazy shit that he obviously don't have no respect for
her mom.
Her mom too. I'm sorry. Yeah, her mom
too. This shit is just a mess.
It was a lot. I mean, I'm trying to
go through. The point is that he was the star that popped off.
He had a big thing because we had a topic because during the case there, YNW, he was not showing a whole lot of like
remorse,
appropriate emotion, I should say, or remorse is definitely the word you should say. He's not showing a whole lot of remorse.
Because he's smiling and
he's smiling, giggling, he talking, he mean mugging people, he looking weird. Like I don't know. I mean, some people just say he's just a weird individual,
Yeah, he's a
which I
weird-ass
get.
individual.
But there's also being a weird individual and then knowing
How
you're
old
on
is
trial
he?
for murder and then just sitting there and not looking stupid because that's what every lawyer ever would tell you to do
Bro,
is
think
don't
about
do
it.
half the shit he
But
be
you
doing.
think about that. You sitting in there. He's how old is he? He like 20,
I don't know how old he is.
19, something like that.
I don't know if he's 19. He might be a little older than that. But I don't know. He might be he's 19, 20-ish, somewhere in there.
All right, so yeah,
Maybe a little older than that.
He's
but,
a young guy. Like
He's young. He's young. But this is what he said. I said that, there's really just no explaining his behavior or his actions. Reasonable people are not looking for the one little thing that they cannot exactly prove and ignoring all of the evidence that the defense cannot explain away. Because that's what D-House, I feel like, is doing. I feel like there's always that one dude in the crowd that, that watches CSI and Law and Order and everything else. And it's like,
With the fake,
they ain't got him on camera
science.
pulling the trigger though. So like, he really, they can't really prove it's his phone and that he was really, blah, blah, blah. Like, we're talking about reasonable.
They even said
reasonable
like
doubt.
when the car is moving.
Reasonably, do you think a celebrity is really walking around just letting everybody use the phone he has been proven to use on a regular basis?
The phone his dick
His
is in.
personal phone. That he has dick. Oh, you're right. That he has pics on.
His
You
dick
think
is in
he's
those
really
pictures.
just letting anybody and everybody that just happens to be in the house just use his phone how he wants to? Okay, cool. If you believe that, cool. But to me, I told him that sounds like a BS excuse that a middle schooler would say when they got caught doing some shit. Not adults. Said that shit don't fly to regular people. Regular people that sit on juries do not believe that. It's they don't usually have smoking gun evidence in murders. It's almost always solved by circumstantial
Ballistics.
evidence. Ballistics, circumstantial evidence,
yeah.
Testimony from experts, that kind of thing. This is not that different. He's just famous as hell, and he had one juror that kind of lost her bacon or whatever, or whoever it was. I can't remember if it was a lady or a male, so let me not, say that. But I know there was a juror that was questionable and was questionable within like 45 minutes of them starting to debate. There was already like a problem that was being told about this person. So.
Oh, man.
It was not a go from like, go. We already knew this was going to happen. But this was D-House's response to me saying that obviously, reasonable people have to look at the whole picture, not just the one thing that could prove he didn't do it. But he says, to be honest, I get to see family and converse with all kinds of stuff. Wait, what? I may smile and be happy after 4 years of being able to cope. He says, okay, I see what he's saying. He says, to be honest, that it's been 4 or 5 years or whatever since this happened. He's had time to, be with his family and converse and be back to his normal self. And maybe now he's not showing.
That nigga's been in jail.
Maybe
this whole
he's
time.
had time to cope with it, is what he said to me. But he also continued and said, I've got partners, and I don't know who he knows and all that kind of thing. But he said, he lived in Atlanta, yada, yada, for y'all backstory. He said, I got partners, that have died, and I still smile and laugh about the good times. I don't get sad. He says, and y'all got to understand, people are weird and socially awkward. Plus, he's been locked down for years. You can't expect him to do or be on normal people's stuff. He said the trial is a field trip for him. So that's why he out there having fun, which does sort of make sense.
All right, I'll give him that part. That probably is like,
He has a lot of attention, so I'm sure he was enjoying,
yeah, like you said, this is probably the most exciting thing that's happened to him in the last 3 years. Like he gets to leave.
Yeah, but
he gets to leave court.
True.
He gets to leave his cell every day, sit in court. At least it's open. You feel me? He can move his arms around.
Yeah, that's true.
Like.
That's true.
Yeah, like you said, it's a field trip for him, but he's still wrong. That nigga did it.
He also was contesting that text he sent saying, I did it, yo, to the gun dealer or whoever it was.
I'm sorry. Like, forget even all of that. Let's just
Okay,
go.
forget that part then. Cool,
Like,
whatever.
You can forget all that to me. It's like, bro, the ballistic evidence don't lie.
This is also his retort. My bad. Just to continue, just to finish it up. He says, right. He said, I've been watching all these trials. This is the best one I've ever seen. He's like, I thought Melly was guilty too, but it just makes no sense. And unfortunately, the media played a big part in people thinking Melly was guilty.
With the Murder on My Mind song.
I mean, I'm sure that didn't help.
That came out.
He said who we need to be looking at hard is the driver because he brought the bodies to the hospital and lied about it being a drive-by. He's the only one that lied and said that. I told him in response that murder, especially in Florida, is a crime by conspiracy. And that if you have a hand in the planning or the afterwork or any of that,
if you drive him off,
right? Which we all know, he was in the car, he was there at the time. He had to have had an integral part in knowing that the crime was going to happen and be done.
And he didn't say nothing. You were an accomplice.
They're both in for a penny and in for a pound, as they say, or whatever it is.
You're an accomplice. Equal
you're an
accomplice.
You're equal accomplice. And in Florida, they both going to do that time for that murder. So
if we rob a bank,
I don't think it really
I'm
matters.
the driver and you shoot everyone in the bank, I'm going down and catching all them years right along with you. And I
like
just
said,
drove the car.
I don't think it matters. And he was talking about how the prosecution did such a bad job and all the other thing. And I was saying
The prosecution did pretty terrible. Melly's defense was pretty good, but they were also really annoying. And the judge was pretty pissed off too, because it's like, bro, y'all are doing way too much. It's like, I understand y'all trying to do a point, but y'all like bitching over small little shit.
I mean, you gotta remember that they're on camera for everybody.
True.
They want the next DaBaby, whoever got a murder trial coming up, and that they gonna have to, they want them to pay that bread for them too. So they showing off for just like everybody else is. But what I told him is the same thing that most people don't really be thinking about it when you get retried, especially this quickly, is that the prosecution and the state's attorney office and everybody else were all watching the same trial you watched and all saw the same nonsense you saw and didn't like, and that they're going to come back and try to adjust all of that on the next trial as well. And maybe they'll do it in a way that doesn't leave so much room for interpretation for all this other random nonsense.
They spent way too much time trying to prove it was that dude's phone.
Right.
Like, they spent days going over the phone stuff.
And his response to me saying the prosecution will get better and yada yada was that saying that Melly got out of the car. He got out of the car to get in the other car, that came to pick him up. He said he didn't change clothes until he got home and went to sleep. That's why they couldn't find any blood on his clothes or whatever. That he's saying that the prosecution never even checked it or whatever. I didn't watch that part of the trial, so I don't know that all that. Y'all have to tell me in the comments if he did or didn't. But he says the other witnesses said that they didn't, said that he didn't see Melly, the other witness that testified, but was also the drunkest and the last person to get out of the car. So he can't be relied upon to be remembered.
Said Melly climbed over his lap while he was asleep.
Yeah, the same witness says he didn't even remember which side of the car he got in on. So basically, all the witnesses are telling the truth. Is what he got out of that.
Wow.
The prosecution messed up because Melly got in the car with them, and she never even asked about that, but the defense did. So they're saying the defense knew more than the prosecution did somehow. So the prosecution didn't know everything. So
should have been mistrial only for the simple fact that the prosecution was bringing evidence late, and like generally, like that's an immediate mistrial. But because
but people find that's not always the case.
Bring that shit in.
No. That's not always the case.
4 years to find that shit.
No, that's not how it works though. Sometimes people don't come forward until they see it's on the trial again.
They wasn't bringing people.
The only thing that matters is that the defense has enough time to see the same evidence that you're going to present.
There was no time
to counter and do that.
There was no time.
The judge will always make sure.
He literally cussed them out. He was like, "Why are y'all over here bringing in stuff? You can't bring no more stuff in. You're not supposed to be like." The judge scolded
maybe
him
for that particular
shit.
piece of evidence. That
doesn't matter. It should be any evidence.
The judge can always be like, "Hey, that's not allowed in trial, and you can't say anything about it." And scratch that off the record and blah 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 and yada yada. I don't think that's necessary.
Well, it's still a mistrial, just like you said. It's still a mistrial. It just took longer.
So you think he did it?
Unfortunately, I think he either did it or had a hand in doing it. Maybe it was an argument in the car. Portland tripped out, shot those two, and then Melly was like, "All right, I'm getting out the car because you wildin'." And then maybe Portland did everything else. But like you said, if you do a drive-by, bullets are not going to go straight into the car. They're going to go at an angle. They're going to tear unevenly, because that's why like people like when you try to shoot something from a distance, you generally like try to not move because the bullet goes clean through.
Right.
And not spinning sideways and shit like that. Like, I'm a big guy on sonics and ballistics and shit like that. So, yeah, unfortunately.
Right. And my thing was honestly just that if you were actually in the car while a drive-by was occurring, there's no way that y'all wouldn't be dead the same way they are.
Exactly.
Like, I just don't buy that. Like, I don't buy that there would be no injuries at all to Portland or Melly just sitting there. Like, the only way that happens is if you were sitting in the back.
Only the right side got shot up.
And you were the one shooting. That's the only way that happens.
Look, I know it was an argument about money. One of them was like the CEO of one of them, of all of them.
Juvie was saying that he was really the CEO.
Right. And that's
the one that's what
really happened.
His parents testified, or his mom testified, whoever it was, that he was the one that came up with the YNW brand and that he was the one doing the planning. He had his own music and that Melly was just the face that popped earlier. So like,
makes sense.
He said he's about to pop on too and then don't keep acting like you're the only thing going around here.
Yep.
Yada yada.
Should get to niggas' heads. That's how it worked. That's how it worked.
They just sold their brand for what was it, like 16 mil or something like that, or whatever it was that they made. They got their contract money or whatever it was, and he was not trying. I think it was just that simple. You're just not trying to split that money.
You think it's just that simple?
No, one, I think it's that simple. You're just not trying to split that money, and two, I think it's as simple as there are gang pressures, and three, I think it's the fact that I have me personally being in a situation with managers and other people claiming responsibility and things that they have not done or did not put any work for, claiming that they're the ones responsible for doing this and that and yada yada. And I know personally how annoying that can be when you are the one thinking you were the one doing all the work and the face and you're making all the money and bringing all the stuff in, which Melly thought. And that, if you're a person of his mind on his murder, proclivities, that you might be the one to take it out with a strap and be like, okay, I'm a blood, I'm gonna go do this shit for real.
Wait, it wasn't
Go get some
Damon's. It was who's the other guy? He has like multiple personalities. It was the other guy. That's who
Portland?
did it. No. Melly said he's like, there's Melly and there's Melvin. Yeah, Melvin did it.
You're right.
It was Melvin. It wasn't Melly.
So whether it's Melvin or Melly or Martin or Mark or whoever the hell, all I know is there's one of you two motherfuckers and y'all was in that car and y'all shot somebody, so both of y'all can go sit in the pen.
Yeah,
That's pretty much
and
how
unfortunately,
I gotta go.
just because you didn't go run and tell the police, like you still go down for that.
And to be honest, I never heard one good example, excuse, or reason as to why this man never went to their funerals, never did any of that. How he was skipping out on thousands of dollars previous, like the same week or something previous, to go to get his hair braided. But he's talking about he can't miss the concert for 10 bands or whatever it was the day that they were found murdered, or the day after, whatever it was. He can't skip that concert, but he got to go get his hair braided the other day. That's cool. But he can't skip this one, even though y'all just got murdered yesterday or whatever. Like, I don't buy none of that. Talking about these are his best friends from middle school or whatever it is. Like, no way.
Yeah.
He smoked them boys. That's it straight up.
He
smoked them,
or
and he's
had
not
an
trying to
issue.
hide it that much. He just don't think he's going to get actually convicted for it. That's really all it is.
Even again, let's say Melly didn't do it. Like let's say he didn't pull the trigger. Let's say Bortland got in an argue with them niggas and Bortland just did it for the clout for Melly because he knew Melly was going to pop. Let's just use that theory. It's just fucking. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, ugh, I just can't even think no more about it. It's just sad all the way around. It's just sad.
I mean,
I respect them trying to stage it as a drive-by. Like that's.
Do you really? Because I feel like it really wasn't that planned that well.
It was planned.
That's the point.
Well,
It was planned.
but most people would have just did something dumber.
Who's most people? Most people would not be shooting their best friends over no reason.
Most criminals in that situation, I guess, wouldn't be like, "Oh, let's stage something." They'd have just like tried to hide the bodies and kept it moving.
Every criminal does.
No, I've never seen
Every person that intentionally commits murder will, unless they are certified insane, they are going to plan it in some form or fashion. No one just be like, you know what?
They usually try to just get
Today's
rid of the bodies, though.
Like, they don't do that.
Well, I guess they had to have an alibi.
What do you mean they don't try to get rid? They did try to get rid of the bodies. They did it in the quickest, easiest, laziest
Take it
way
to the
possible,
hospital?
which is take it to the
That's
hospital.
not getting rid of bodies. That's bringing evidence to the fucking. That's bringing evidence.
They thought that was getting rid of the bodies. They thought, well, the bullets aren't ours. We didn't do it. That's not our evidence. That's somebody else's evidence. It must be, right? Yeah, that's what they thought. Because again, they thought they were just being quick and funny about it, and thought murder was like easy or something. I guess. I don't know, but
Even if the gun went off, just playing around, just do your time. Well, damn, there's no time. Let's just. Well, that's the thing is that that's what fucked up. When they give you the death penalty, they like hold you for like 25 years, then kill you, and it's just like, yo, just murder me. Like you've already sentenced me to death. If I can have a speedy trial, I can have a speedy death. I'm just saying.
I don't know.
Like I don't want to wait 15 years for you to figure this shit out, man.
I don't know. I just feel like I watched a lot of trials lately for people that
Celebrity trials, they're the best.
I don't know. But let's segue while we're talking about rappers and celebrity trials here. Let's segue to one who did not have a trial because he just straight up said, you know what, I did do that shit.
GHERBO.
I'm going to go ahead and take this bid. GHERBO, rapper GHERBO, pleaded guilty Friday to his role in a scheme that used stolen credit card information to pay for a lavish lifestyle, including private jets, exotic car rentals, and luxury vacation rentals, and even expensive designer puppies.
Pause.
Yes,
This
sir.
is while he was signed already?
I mean,
He was
I don't know when he got signed exactly, but this was
while he was making records, though. At least,
yes, I'm sure this is why he was making records.
he did rap about scamming. He did rap about scamming cars. Hey, man, that was the height of
Talk about it, you live about it, maybe. So under a deal with prosecutors, the 27-year-old Chicago rapper, whose real name is Herbert Wright III, entered a guilty plea in federal court in Springfield, Massachusetts to conspiracy to commit wire fraud and making false statements. In exchange, prosecutors dismissed several counts of aggravated identity theft. Ooh. He also agreed to forfeit nearly $140,000, the amount he benefited from what prosecutors have said was a $1.5 million scheme that involved several other people. Now, I saw somewhere, before you even get it, I saw somewhere that he said the money was worth the bid. Does 5 years equate to $140,000? He probably could make that in a day. At the right day, he probably could make that at least in a day at this point in his rap career.
Divide that by
and he
5.
thought that was worth 5 years in prison during the peak of your rap career, plus 3 years on full probation after you get off, with who knows what stipulations.
Is there any like GHERBO songs that's getting him like crazy residuals?
What do you mean? He was on Nardo Wick shit. He's on a couple of joints. Plus his own joints. He just had a whole album drop like
but
2 months ago.
But you can have an album, but then not have a #1 single or platinum single. Like that's the shit that's gonna bring you money forever. You get what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm asking. Has he had any classic hits?
Even if you were just talking about Nardo Wick something, I've heard him on at least 10 other features and everything else. It's just his year. If we're talking about just Nardo Wick shit, I'm sure that is a platinum track and that is going to be worth money for a while.
I don't know why he's jacking.
Probably a lot more than that's probably worth at least $140,000. I would imagine his verse on fucking Nardo Wick song. I'm sure.
Well, like I said, they tell you that it wasn't worth it. Fuck it, 100,000 5 years, no.
Hell no,
absolutely.
But maybe at the time, I guess he thought it was. Mr. Right,
that might have been the best he got because like how much is identity theft? That could be like 10 years a piece. Type shit. Identity theft is huge.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's not worth whatever y'all was getting. I don't know. Crime does not pay like that. Y'all. I mean, it does if y'all are like super dumbass smart, but like most of y'all are not that smart. So don't do it.
Even the smart niggas getting caught.
Even the smart motherfuckers. Crime's hard nowadays. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's hard, man.
Mr. Wright used stolen account information as his very own unlimited funding source, using victims' payment cards to finance an extravagant lifestyle and advanced his career. So he definitely had a career to advance at the point in time. Acting U.S. Attorney Joshua Levy said in a statement, sentence is scheduled for November 7th, and he faces I guess that already happened. So we already know he's getting 5 years.
Is he getting time served on house arrest?
He's getting 3 years. I don't know about house arrest. Oh, hold on. We got more details here. Hold on. From at least March 2017 until November 2018, GHERBO and his promoter Antonio Strong used text messages, social media messages, and emails to share account information taken from dark websites. On one occasion,
oh my God! So they were buying him off the dark web. Oh.
I guess. On one occasion, the stolen account information was used to pay for a charter jet to fly the rapper and members of his entourage from Chicago to Austin, Texas. On another, a stolen account was used to pay for nearly $15,000 for Wright and several others to stay several days in a 6-bedroom Jamaica villa. In court documents, prosecutors said GHERBO used the proceeds of these frauds to travel to the various concert venues and to advance his career by posting photographs of himself and videos on himself on private jets in exotic cars and in Jamaica villas. So he basically was just faking his whole entire shit. I guess saying he was off drug money, but I don't know. He probably was getting drug money.
Nah, but he was rapping about scamming cars. Again, he came up during the scamming cards era. When scamming cars was really, really huge. Like that's when he was really popping.
It says GHERBO also helped Strong order 2 designer Yorkshire Terrier puppies from a Michigan pet shop using a stolen credit card and a fake Washington State driver's license. So he's buying fake licenses and all types of shit. God,
it's the dark web, bro. You can do anything within the dark web that strengthens you.
He said that all cost about 10 bands, said the prosecutor. He said when the pet shop owner asked to confirm the purchase with GHERBO, Strong directed her to do so through an Instagram message, and GHERBO confirmed he was buying the puppies, authorities said. Because the stolen, I guess she did that. She already knew. I guess she did that to make sure, like, all right, if you say you buy these, I'm coming for you if this money is there. I'm coming to GHERBO for this money. Because the stolen credit card information was authentic, the transactions went through, and it wasn't until later that the real credit card holders noticed and reported the fraud. GHERBO was also charged in May 2021 with lying to investigators by denying that he had any ties to Strong when, in fact, the two had worked together since at least 2016. Yikes.
Well, as long as he got record hits, he had no choice. He'll probably, get 5, 2.5 for good behavior, 3 for good behavior.
Yeah.
Especially if he's, he got crew in there. And they fuck with him.
OD. It said GHERBO.
We need an update on
who said his GHERBO, whose 2020 album title, album PST debuted at number 7 on the Billboard 200. So that's pretty close to a number 1. On number 7 on the Billboard. He said, and GHERBO also started a program in Chicago called Swerving Through the Streets, aimed at giving urban youth tools to navigate mental health crises after publicly acknowledging his own struggle with PTSD. Probably from all this fucking trapping and weaving through the streets he was doing.
But why you got to name it weaving? And it's supposed to sound something like motivational, something that's going to move you forward. Now.
He's talking about how you navigate the streets, I guess. He says, but in 2021, he was named to Forbes 30 under 30 on the music list. So that's pretty popping for you to just kind of toss it for dogs in Jamaican villas.
It was in the beginning
I mean, I kind of understand it as far as the faking it till you make it. Like, you got to get filmed, you got to pay for music videos,
but
all
you
types
get
of
in
extra
advance.
shit.
Oh, well, we got to see who was he
I
signed
don't know what
with?
his label like.
Did he
Maybe
have
he
a
wasn't
real
trying to take a
label?
real deal or whatever. Maybe he wasn't trying to give up all that whatever. Yeah, he was trying to fund it himself with his
Just paid your
nefarious dealings.
360. Should just took your 360 and kept it moving.
I don't know. So, I mean, he's doing 5. He's going to get another 3 afterwards.
He's going to get another 3 after the 5?
3 on probation, I'm sorry.
Oh, all right. I was about to say that. He'll probably get 2.5, 3 for good behavior.
So GHERBO. So this is the final. This is what was on Rap Caesar. I think it's Season. Rap Season on Twitter. GHERBO to serve 5 years after agreeing to plead guilty to conspiracy to commit wire fraud and making false statements. The plea consists of his 5-year prison sentence and then a supervised release for 3 years after that. He also had to pay $250,000 back as a fine. So I don't know about the money being that big of an issue.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe it is though.
The
if you
money
gotta
is
steal 140 bands.
but it wasn't. He was trying to live the lifestyle while he was rapping, scamming cards.
That's true.
You know,
Just a quick little segue while we're still. Well, I guess not still on. Just quick little segue then. Back to basketball a little bit. I forgot to touch on. Bronny James obviously was hospitalized at USC during his practice a couple of days ago. He was hospitalized after cardiac arrest at a USC basketball practice. He was fully vaccinated against COVID with many boosters, and we are all praying that he makes a full recovery. Young and healthy 18-year-old kids are not supposed to deal with shit like this, and this has implications on his future now because, how's the NBA going to go? I mean, we've already seen athletes this year and last year with heart problems, obviously,
LaMarcus Aldridge.
A couple other guys. I mean, it's a scary thing, and I'm not sure that it's something that you're just going to be able to continue with, but they have obviously he's Bronny James. I mean, they got the best of the best. He's gonna get the best doctors and the best facilities and the best everything. So maybe they'll be able to keep him on the track and keep him on track to make it to the league and do what he wants to do and do it how he wants to do it. But that's scary, and that's one of my little homies. That's I made shoes for him a while back in the day. It's a cool dude. I've enjoyed watching him kind of grow up. Him and the little bro, him and Bryce. So I don't know if. It's wild. So I mean, hopefully he's all right. If you catch wind of this, bro, hopefully you're doing good, and we'll catch you back out there shortly. But scary stuff, man. Scary stuff. Him, DeMar Hamlin, a couple other. I mean, it's a lot of weird stuff going on nowadays. You know what I'm saying? A lot of weirdness.
I mean, it's just the only messed up part is I think for a normal player, like a normal, college going player or whatever, that would potentially stunt his career, but because he has James behind his name and his father is who he is, he's going to go somewhere regardless.
No, that's facts.
So it's unfortunately it's a blessing that he is the son of the king of basketball right now, or the dying king of basketball. Like he's
dying king.
He'll
be the king of basketball until he decides he doesn't want to be the king of basketball anymore. That's just how it works.
Point being is that it sucks. Like
it sucks.
He's not going to be affected, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately. He's not going to be affected at all, so he'll be fine.
I mean, we'll hope. We're going to hope and see. I mean, it ain't nothing to sneeze at.
Ain't nothing to sneeze at, but nobody wants to. No one's going to fuck over LeBron. It's the dumbest move you can make.
It ain't much. It ain't, we going to see.
No matter. Bronny bringing too much money. That is a walking bag if you are.
All of them are. What do you mean?
Exactly. So if you.
It's Kardashian shit. They're all walking bags.
Exactly. So they're not going to let Bronny not play. That's a bag. That'd be retarded. Ridiculous.
It's not really about it. I mean, I guarantee you, LeBron will not let Bronny play if it threatens his life in any way. Like, he's not going to let him play basketball just for no reason. It's not like he actually has to play basketball.
Bronny 18, he can do whatever he wants.
He can do whatever he wants, but I'm telling you, he's not going to do it if they tell him not to do it. But anyways, let's go ahead and segue to some world news here a little bit. Not that all this wasn't really world news, but some more worldly affecting news. If you guys watch TV. Music, not music, somewhat music, but if you guys watch TV or movies, then I'm sure you understand and are aware of the SAG strike going on right now.
SAG. You SAG.
Thousands, if you are not aware, SAG-AFTRA members will walk the picket line in solidarity with striking Writers Guild of America workers outside of Netflix on Tuesday outside of Netflix's office on Tuesday in Los Angeles. I'm sorry.
And they're walking out front of Netflix?
That's where they're going on Tuesday. So if you guys are not aware, thousands of screenwriters have been on strike for more than 2 months, and they will now be joined in the picket lines by thousands of actors represented by the Screen Actors Guild of America, Federation of Television, Radio Arts, or the SAG-AFTRA. A labor union whose members include some of the most famous faces in the industry entertainment.
I.e., if you had a movie that you were looking forward to come out, we'll go ahead and delay that shit. That shit is being delayed. Hella delayed. I don't even know what's a good movie to see. Like,
I don't know. Just to give y'all a little bit of background, the dispute pits SAG-AFTRA against the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, the AMPTP, a trade association that represents behemoth entertainment corporations such as Disney, Netflix, Paramount, and Warner Brothers and Discovery, the group that owns NBC Universal and NBC News. What do the actors want? SAG-AFTRA members are seeking a new contract with the AMPTP, an agreement that they must believe accounts for the economic realities of the streaming revolution and the risk posed by emerging digital technologies. So basically, people are tired of streaming services not paying you, doing less shoots, less films, doing less episodes on shows, getting paid less for residuals, and having their likenesses used without their knowledge. That has occurred in recent movies as recent as I saw yesterday. What was the movie? Oh man. Damn. It wasn't Guardians of the Galaxy or Flash. It was one of these movies that just flopped. Fuck. I'm gonna remember it.
Flash definitely flopped.
I'm gonna remember in a second here. I don't know if it was Guardians of the Galaxy or
it did. It brought in. I think it broke. I think it made a little money.
Maybe it was Indiana Jones. I can't.
Oh yeah, Indiana Jones.
I think it was one of the guys from Indiana Jones that was in the original trilogy, and then when they brought him back, he wasn't even told he was brought back. They just reused some of his scenes and used his likeness on some CGI thing.
But you signed that
and never paid. Right? He says he's not mad at them. He's technically mad at the people who wrote his contract because they allowed that in his contract, and he didn't know it allowed that. He thought it was only going to be used for press releases, not for like actual new movies. And he said he never got paid for the new movie because of this. So shit like that is basically why they're doing this. As you know, over the past decade, your compensation has been severely eroded by the rise of streaming ecosystem. Furthermore, artificial intelligence poses an existential threat to the creative professionals, and all actors and performers deserve contract language that protects them from having their identity and talent exploited without consent and pay. So they're also complaining that AI is writing scripts and movies and things, and that you aren't going to need people to actually do that anymore. And like a lot of people are losing jobs and money and things like that. AI programs like ChatGPT could one day be used as a substitute for their human labor, and people are trying to preemptively stop that from happening. So, what do the studios say, you might wonder? When it becomes clear late Wednesday that negotiations were going nowhere as a strike was more likely. This was obviously back when this article came out. This is on NBC News.
NBC.
This is the union's choice, not ours. Says the union. Says who the fuck said this?
So crazy.
My bad. This is like
people
jumping
with millions
around.
of dollars complaining that they're not receiving more millions of dollars.
I mean, but honestly, it's not really the people. And again, you're not. I mean, there are people
the big
walking
people
now, but it's not the big people that are the ones that are really superly affected by
it's
this.
the
Although
middle,
they are, but they're not the ones that are not going to be able to pay their bills.
It's the middle guys,
the residuals from whatever this is. It's not even the middle guys. It's more the people who
Netflix
may
series.
be in that one movie or in that one thing, or like you said, the actual living actors who make their livings by standing in the backgrounds of stuff, or make their livings by being a taxi driver in this one thing or whatever it is. Like that's how you make your money. And if they start cutting down, you going from, and it's also for the people behind the scenes who the project designers and the other people like that who get to work on 10 episodes now are only working on 3 a year, and then now you got to go get a whole nother job where you might have only had to do that once a year before, where now you're gonna have to do that 5 times a year, and for somebody that understands having to jump from contract to contract and things like that, residuals are a real freaking thing. Trust me, I wish I got residuals for like 95% of the stuff I've done, because I would be living fat right now, but I'd get nothing. So like I fully understand why you'd be out there striking, and it's not
as
I'm
an
sure
artist,
Tom Cruise guys out there, but it's not them that's on the picking lines in front of Netflix. I'm sure. At least I'm sure there'll be a couple of them, but it's not mostly them. It's most of the regular people. Those are the ones that really want this money and need this money, but they have to keep their jobs.
Here's the messed up part, though. Unfortunately, this is what comes with innovation. This is what comes with change. When you do things like this, jobs will always be affected. they are these people, like you said, the higher people, they're getting paid millions of dollars. But like when you go into acting, you know it's a risky business. You get what I'm saying? It's just like selling cars. When you go sell a car, you know it's not guaranteed.
I mean, yeah, but by that logic, then no one would go be an actor. I mean, you'd have half the
I mean,
an
that's
actor, you'd have half the shows, and you'd have half.
Why do people spend 90% of their life training to be an athlete and then only 2% make it? Same shit.
I mean, yes, but then you know that when you're fucking 18, you're gonna know if you're gonna be a professional athlete or not. You know what I'm saying?
Not true.
You have time to change what you're doing. People who have been doing this for 40 years and all of a sudden now can't pay their bills. You know, that's the problem.
My brother's been like being a #1 quarterback for a couple of schools, and they literally just jerked him around and wasted his career. Like he literally spent hundreds of thousands of dollars into his career for it to not pay out. Like, and it sucks being jerked around, being lied to. You know what I mean? So like, I get that aspect. I understand what these people are going through, but they got to understand as innovation changes, jobs are going to be eliminated or jobs are created. Now, at this point, unfortunately, it's up to them to either make this agreement or figure something out like YouTube, you know what I mean, where you're making your own streaming service. But streaming's down. Streaming only rose due to COVID. Like, streaming's going to go down. People want to go outside again. You know what I mean? Like, we were told we can't go nowhere for like 2-3 years.
I don't know. As far as what I've heard from everybody, all the videos I've watched and everything else and everybody I talked to, is streaming is the way of the future, and it's not going nowhere.
Streaming,
it's much cheaper to produce. It's much easier to do. It's less episodes. It's less time. It's less investment. It's less upfront money.
Netflix numbers are down. Disney numbers are down. Why do you think fucking ESPN got gutted? And that's owned by the mouse, and the mouse has not been turning a profit. They get gutted out.
I mean, it's true, but I mean, the ups and downs are going to happen. Ups and downs are going to happen. So, I mean,
Oh, that's what you wanted. You wanted people to sit home and watch shit, and this is what happens. Now we sit home and watch shit.
They figure it out. I'm hoping that they get it together.
Figure this shit out, y'all. We got a lot of entertainment I got
a lot of shows that I'm not trying to have canceled here. So
exactly.
I'm not trying to have. There's a lot of shows I'm not trying to have ruined here. A lot of movies coming up.
You think the market will ever be like changed for what actors will make? As in, like,
I'm sure everything
down and not up, like going down.
I don't see entertainment being any less valuable in the future than it is now. I mean, unless you just start making shit like holodecks, where everybody can just go do their own thing. I mean, y'all on the Star Trek, y'all know Star Trek. Google a Star Trek holodeck.
Holodecks.
When they make one of these, then streaming is no more. But until then, and until everybody got one, I think people are going to be on their phones. They're going to be on their TVs. They're going to be on their computers. It's just 700 times easier to stream now. Almost every TV is built in with streaming platforms built into it now. Every computer, every phone. I mean, that's the way of the future.
But then there's like the whole YouTube community,
right now,
which they're their own networks. You know what I'm saying? You got
right.
YouTube,
So I mean, some people are going to go to
stars.
YouTube. I seen Ryan Reynolds on TV promoting a Snapchat show. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this Marvel superstars here. So I mean, I'm saying, like, obviously people are seeing this coming and they're taking steps to do that. But what it is right now is what it is, and what movies are being done now and what movies have been done in the last 10 to 15 years, 20 years, whatever it is. People want their money for that joint now. So it is what it is. Pay up.
All right, but people ain't going to go see that shit. So what is there to pay? I can't pay you more if the movie flop.
That's true.
We spent $2 billion on a movie, and the shit only brings back 100,000, 100 million. Like,
yeah, that's true.
That's not good.
So y'all are gonna have to tell us what you think. But I think we're gonna wrap here. We're gonna we got a couple things we're gonna discuss here for the next episode, but we're gonna catch you guys
always
a little
juicy,
bit later.
Always juicy, and we'll definitely have our producer back and our wonderful co-host. Catch me inside.
You know, it's going to be an assortment of talent on the show here.
True.
So every week to week, you're going to see different people. Sometimes it'll be all of us. Sometimes it'll be us two. Sometimes it'll be just me. Sometimes it'll be just Brent. Who knows?
Who knows?
But we're going to see. But I appreciate you guys coming out. I'm Sierato. This is my co-host over here.
Got like B-Chan.
There you go.
Doing the thing.
This is DLC, and we will catch you guys a little bit later.
Please like and subscribe.